Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
Welcome back to the Mel K Show. As I keep telling you, no matter what you are hearing out there, no matter what the mainstream fake news media is telling you, we are on the trajectory to take back this country from the inside out. We have worked really hard, you guys and me and my guest today, Clay Clark, to get to a place where we are moving, actually turned it around and moving in the right direction. The problem is that most people are waiting for something to happen instead of realizing that it is your time to take this country back personally. And that is why I have Clay Clark back with me today, because there are a lot of small business owners. There are a lot of people who missed out on their dream. There are a lot of people that had hobbies and ideas and things they wanted to do, but we have been stuck in a fraudulent debt slavery model, at least since post-World War II. And our country has been looted from the inside out. And I believe Donald Trump and his team are right now reorganizing to take back manufacturing, industry, Main Street, back to the people. This is the first president we've had, at least in my lifetime, that is saying, you know what? I'm going to make sure everyone has a shot at the American dream again. And you know who can help you achieve that? Clay Clark. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Mel, thank you so much and for allowing me to be here with you. And I'm going to try to share, if I can, with your listeners, 5 pro tips that will allow every listener out there to achieve massive success and I'm going to see if I can do it in 20 minutes. So Mel, so there's somebody watching today's show. I don't know who you are. You have a business and you are stuck, and you know you're stuck. And when we get past the Photoshop and the Facebook and the Instagram and the high fives and the pleasantries, you're stuck and you want to get unstuck. And so my goal today, Mel, is to teach every single listener out there who wants to move beyond just surviving to thriving and to really take advantage of this window of opportunity that we now have.
Great. Let's do it.
Okay. So step number one, here we go. Step number one, you got to find your niche. And I talked to one of your listeners today, and it was yesterday actually, who has a bakery in Arizona. If they're watching, big shout out to you guys. And they found their niche, and the niche was this. The man found a way to make fresh organic bread. Wow. So he makes this fresh bread. He's going, the bread could be better. He's going to a grocery store saying, this bread could be better. And he decided to make his own bread. Yeah. He makes his own bread. Then he shows up at the farmers markets and he tries to sell it. He's convincing people to buy it. He's saying, my bread is the best bread. You need to try my bread. It's the best. Well, now he's got a bakery. Wow. Now that progression of from the idea to the bakery, it's a multiple year process, but at some point he had to find a niche, And someone's watching this show, Mel, and you've seen it because you worked in Hollywood. There's somebody who has a great voice, and maybe they're not a good actor or actress yet, but they have a great voice for singing. Or maybe someone's a great writer, but they're not the kind of person that should be on screen. Maybe somebody out there, you should be on screen, but you don't write. But you have to find your niche. And I think that requires a certain amount of self-awareness.
Yes.
So Mel, I want to get your thoughts on that with your own life. When you decided to start putting out this podcast, I've been told by two of your listeners this week, they said, and I'm paraphrasing, one says, I like Mel, she's sassy. I go, what? I always ask your listeners whenever I talk to them on the phone and they're getting conference tickets, I say, what do you like about Mel? This one listener says, she's bold and sassy. I said, what does that mean to you? Then she goes, she's unapologetic and I love her energy. The other person told me, they said, I like that she leads with facts. And so if I had to describe the Mel K Show, it's a show where you boldly share the facts. But when you started the show, before show number one was even recorded, before show number two, talk to the listeners about your process for designing what your show would be like in your mind and finding your own niche.
Well, I didn't really know for sure, but I was at a point in my life where I'd seen a lot of things that I wanted to expose, particularly at that time. The homeless industrial complex in New York City was on my radar, and I was digging into that, and a lot of wasted money that was supposed to be for the people. I mean, nothing like what we know now with USAID, but certainly terrible, $800 million. And I was looking through it, and at the same time, we were in the lockdowns, and I was speaking out on other shows. No, it was pre-lockdown. I actually started my first podcast the day after we got locked down, March 15th, 2020. And that was me alone, but I've been doing them with other people, kind of figuring out what would work for me. And honestly, I just felt like there was a void of people that would talk about particularly financial corruption and government corruption the way that I would, because I went and I found the receipts and I found the money. And I said, you know what, I don't think enough people are following the money to expose it. And that's kind of the route I took, which leads you to facts, because once you find the money and the transactions, you know exactly who was involved. So that was kind of my thing. But also, I have to say at the same time, it was also out of necessity. I looked at Rob and I looked at me and I said, okay, what are our tools? What do we know how to do? And I know how to write screenplays and produce programs and movie. And I know how to do a newscast and that. And Rob knew banking and that kind of sector and some of that. So we just said, we're going to have to continue to make money. So let's try the podcast thing. And we both just dove in and worked every day. And you know what? It was really also that we decided we were going to be, if we were going to do it, we were going to be consistent, and we were going to be consistent. And that's what we did. And then, of course, one day we woke up and our channel was gone. But you know what? It was then at that point, then you have to go back and say, okay, that model worked there. Let's jump right now over to Rumble and see if we can keep that momentum. And we were lucky enough to do that.
And I encourage everybody out there, somebody's watching today's show and you are saying, is he talking to me? Is this guy talking to me? I feel like he's talking to me. Somebody, you're watching this show and you're going, I want to become successful. So step number one, what's the first step? You've got to find your niche. I'm going to play a brief video so you can see somebody who has 5 kids, 5 kids, which, by the way, could be, if you're not careful, 5 excuses as to why you don't have the time to start a business. But this guy has 5 kids. Let me hit play here. This is Russell Weimer. He started a company called Weimer Works. It's a pool maintenance company. Here we go. What kind of growth have you had since you became a one-on-one coaching client?
Well, I think I've gone, when I first started back, not even a year ago, when we really started getting down in the dirt with this, I had about 6 consistent customers, and now I'm about shy of 60 customers.
Okay, so this guy, he went from 6 customers to 60 customers. Someone says, well, what does he do? What does he do? What does he do? He's a pool maintenance guy. You say, what's the name of his company? I want to prove he's real. Weimer, okay, Works. I'm typing it in. This is Trophy Club, Texas, okay? Because somebody will say, well, yeah, you only work with people in Tulsa. No, in fact, like 90% of my clients are not in Tulsa.
Right.
Yeah, well, you only work with service businesses. That's also not accurate. So I'm telling you, but he had to decide, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. So it's Weimer Works, and we built his website. We did all the photography, the videography, the web development, the search engine optimization. Awesome. He now has 98 clients that pay him monthly to maintain their pool and their house. And you say, well, why did he choose that niche? He just lost his job and had no other opportunities. Right. So he didn't have any opportunities. So he came to one of our workshops. He said, I don't know what I'm going to do. But and I remember talking to him. I said, what do you do? He said, well, I was maintaining pools, but I just got laid off. And now this company is super successful. To put a little meat on the bone, I mean, this is a guy doing 98 pools, maintaining monthly on a residual income. It's really, really doing well. But somebody says, yeah, but you know, I am. I don't know. At least I build metal roofs. Okay, so one of my clients, they build metal roofs. Let me find it. Doug Yarholer. Okay, let me find it here. Doug, there's Doug. There's Doug, his company. I'm sorry I don't have all the websites memorized for all my clients, but I'm trying to keep it real and raw. It's metal roof contractors here. We're going to find him, and this is Doug. And Doug, he had a family member. One of his kids was battling a severe illness that was life-threatening, and he builds these unbelievable metal roofs. He does businesses with the government. He sells roofs to government. He's a government contractor, right? And he reached out. Again, he had a person in his immediate family, one of his children, that was suffering from what could be a terminal illness. He reached out, not quite knowing where he was going, but knowing he was going. And he reached out. Life changed, unbelievable success story. And somebody says, yeah, but I repair cars. What would my niche be? This is a guy who worked as an automotive repair guy, and now he's a very super successful entrepreneur with a multi-million-dollar company. Check this out, folks. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
To give a little context, he's tripled the size of his company. So what I'm saying is, everybody out there watching today's show, step number one, you got to find your niche. You have to find your niche. To put more meat on the bone, Mel, I started out as a disc jockey. I was 15 years old. I found out that we were poor. I discovered we were poor. People say, did you know you were poor? I had a clue. Okay, so so what did you do? I started a company called DJ Connection. Well, how did you buy the equipment? There was a guy I knew who smoked a lot of pot from high school. And I said, hey, dude, can I rent equipment from you? And he says, bro, yeah, no problem, bro. Just, so when do you need it? And I go, on Saturday. Okay, bro. Yeah, just come by my garage. So I came by his garage, rented the gear. True story. Didn't know how it all worked. Hired a friend of mine who was into wrestling, a friend of mine who's a wrestler / AV guy at his church. He came with me to the event. I bought these CDs. It was back when we had compact discs. I had CDs I bought from BMG. It's like 13 CDs for a penny or something. I got all the CDs, got the stuff. And then I started cold calling every school, literally every, I'm a 15-year-old cold calling every school saying, hey, who do you guys use for the entertainment for your school events?
Right.
And they would say, this company. And I said, well, I'll beat anyone's price by 25%. And I promise I'm going to blow you away. I'd like to schedule a free consultation. And I'm doing phone appointments, appointments over the phone. I'm in high school. I'm 15 years old. And one by one, when I would show up to set up my gear, Mark Haugen was his name. Big shout out to Mark Haugen. Mark Haugen was my youth pastor. He would drive me because he could drive. I couldn't drive. He would drive me to the shows. And when we'd unpack the gear, they would go, Clay? Because the guy who's 30 years old, they thought that was me. And he goes, no, I'm Mark. That's Clay. And they go, you? Yeah, you called me. I go, yeah. How old are you? I go, 15. That's how I got started.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you have to start with the tools that you have. Somebody out there, you are saying, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too whatever, stop it. Find your niche, okay? And you say, what's a niche? It's a problem that you can solve for other people. Step number 2, once you've found a problem you can solve,
Right.
I need you to go sell it. So I'm talking to bakery guy. I'm going, bakery guy, one of your great listeners, bakery man in Arizona, bakery man. How did you start your company, bakery man? And bakery man says, well, I went to the farmers markets. I went door to door, essentially selling it on the streets. I'm going, yeah. If you have the hustle, you can do it, but you got to go sell 10 somethings.
Right.
Because all the theory, all the ideas, all that doesn't matter if you don't sell something. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. So if you're out there today, and again, Mr. Pool Guy, Russell Weimer there, Pool Guy, Roy Cogshaw, Mr. Automotive Repair Guy, Mr. Yarholer, Mr. Roofer Guy, all of these people had one thing in common. They had a niche, but they were struggling to sell.
Right.
They were struggling to gain traction. And Mel, we're just a call away. We're just a click away. And I want to show people this. For anybody, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you go there, thrivetimeshow.com. Mel, I've been doing this for 20 years. And I have got documented. You went to acting classes, and I know you did. And when you were in your acting classes, I think you were with Jim Brewer in an acting class, is my understanding.
Same teacher, yeah.
And you went to the class because the teacher was well known and well regarded.
Yep.
Folks, that's what I am to business, what maybe Mel's acting coach was. This is what I do.
Yeah.
20 years doing it. We've got thousands of client success stories. And I think people think, I don't know. Can I afford it? Folks, our tickets are $250 or whatever price you can pay. We have a scholarship. Someone says, well, how does the one-on-one coaching work? I charge people $1,700 a month to coach you. And that includes photography, videography,
Website,
web development, online ads,
bargain,
everything. But again, I'm trying to teach somebody something. You got to find your niche. Step number 1, you say, you seem pretty passionate. I am so passionate because I know what it's like growing up poor. I know. Hey, you want to add powder and then add water to it and stir it up and call it milk? I can relate to that. You're watching today's show. You had a couch for a decade and you still keep the plastic on it. I can relate to that. You've got a car with multiple dents in it that might not get from A to B. I can relate to that. You consider going out to McDonald's as going out to eat. I can relate to that. You're going on a date looking for expired gift cards, hoping that they're not going to call you on it. I can relate to that. My wife can tell you our first date, I took her to Fridays using gift cards.
Wow.
I'm telling you, if you're out there today and you're going, I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I can do it. I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV, and I did it, and you can do it too. So if you're watching today's show, find your niche. Step number 2, Mel, you got to sell 10 somethings. You have to sell 10 somethings. Now, step 3, if you are selling something, now you got to nail it and scale it. And you have to build processes and systems. And so, Mel, when you make movies, you do blocking. You make a script, like a storyboard, and you say kind of a linear storyboard from left to right. Here's the character, here's the problem, the plot. Here's going to be that we're working towards a climax, towards a solution. Here's the resolution. Okay. Now we go back to the beginning. Let's develop the characters. Okay. Now let's develop the plot. And there's a process.
Yep.
And then when you shoot the film, it's like, okay, cameraman 1, you're over here. Camera 2, you're over here. Camera 3, you're here. Okay. And Mel, I think a lot of people, we get excited about making the movie, but we don't want to take the time to do the tedious time blocking or the script writing like you've done. What do you say to somebody who's always going 90 miles an hour, but maybe they struggle a little bit with sitting down and making the plan to get from A to B? They have a hard time kind of slowing down enough to make that plan.
Well, that's what I was going to say about you in particular. And I know this because we've been to your events where you help people figure out how to monetize and all of that. But you have to be your own advocate. You don't do it for people, but you do stay on top of them and you do help them with time and effort. But honestly, the passion comes from inside, and everyone has a passion for something. And I do. I love the most actually writing the script, the story. I like coming up with the characters and what they're doing doing and what the stakes are and all that great stuff. But again, it takes a very long time. And what I learned all the way back in the 90s in film school was just finish it. Just finish it. Don't sit there and play around with the dialogue. Don't sit there and decide I'm going to change this or that. Don't go back. Never go back. Just keep going forward. Once you finish a first draft, then the fun begins. Then it becomes, but the first draft is the heavy lifting. You just have to finish it. Once you finish it, it takes on a life of its own. And that is with almost everything. Once you commit and once you are in it and once you do the some of the steps that you lay out. I know when me and Rob were listening to like how you do your calendar and all of this, and we're like, oh God, we don't do any of that. But I've watched, especially with people like our friends Flyover and some other people that have taken your formula for just podcasts and have turned them into $500,000, amazing, great things that are travel around the country and are thriving. But it really all started with committing to follow a certain path and then following it. And then the best part about you is then you also reinforce, well, did you finish this? Did you finish that? Because a lot of people make their to-do list and they want to do something and they have the plan. And then life comes in and then they put it aside and then it never happens. But all I know is that I was always told, and it comes from my first year at NYU, was like, just finish it. Don't go back until you finish the first draft. Then you can start to do whatever you want. But you just have to lay the groundwork. And once that's done, then sky's the limit.
Now, folks, with this high octane show today, going 90 miles an hour, I want to show you something. This is going to be my parking lot soon. So what I do is I sketch out what I want my life to be, and then I do it. Okay. So this is my parking lot, and in the back of my parking lot, it doesn't feel awesome. And I want my entire parking lot to be awesome. So I'm in the process of building this fountain. Okay. So I sit down, I sketch, I think about my life ideal in every respect. I do it every single morning, and I sketch it out and I say, okay, I want to build this water feature. I want to build this. I want to do that. Then I go to Branson, Missouri. Why do I go to Branson? Because Branson has these things, and I take videos of it. And I say, this is what I want it to look like. I'm going to do this. And I sketch it out. And you go, are you nuts? This is what I'm doing. I'm designing my life how I want it to be. I refuse to just react. And I don't want to be somebody who watches reality TV. I want to be a guy who's living reality TV. Yes. So I'm sketching it out. And if you're watching today's show and you're saying, what am I supposed to get out of this show? I'm walking you through a specific process. And Mel, you hit on something that everyone needs to know. The process is called define, act, measure, refine. For entrepreneurs, that's the rhythm. Define, act, measure, refine. Define what you think is going to work, then act, then measure, then refine. Somebody watching today's show, you're endlessly defining. I might do this. I might do this. Then you have to act. Okay. Now you have to measure. Now you have to refine. That's why I do weekly business coaching. But the truth be known, this is a little secret between you and me and our listeners here. I have weekly coaching sessions with my clients, but I'll call my clients 3 and 4 times a week because I cannot handle things not getting done. So it's almost like
most people need that the most. And then the truth is, once you are coached to get things done when you need to get them done, I mean, I'd love you to come coach Rob anytime. But the truth is, once you do start doing things the way that you lay out, it becomes a habit.
There it is.
You have to create good habits.
That's it right there. It's habitual success. It works. Now, step number 4, folks, you got to elevate your network. Okay. With the limited time we have today, Mel, I'm so sorry. My schedule is so crazy today because if you start a Reawaken America tour, you get in perpetual legal excitement. So that's the thing. Yeah, it's gross. By the way, the Reawaken America tour, folks, that was a thing we did. Mel was there, General Flynn, Eric Trump, Mike Lindell. A series of lawsuits have occurred. I'll be vague on the show. But anyway, all of us are now involved in constant lawfare. So my schedule is kind of not my own this afternoon a little bit. But what you do is you have to nail it and scale it. Step 3. Step number 4, you have to elevate your network. Your network is your net worth. So today, my network is my net worth. You become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so why I love talking to Mel every week is because I really, really connect with or resonate with or am in a flow with all things Mel K. We understand. I can share a piece of information with you and I can say, oh, geez, Mel, did you hear about this? And usually you'll say, I've already heard about it, but I didn't know that part. Or I already know that, but this, have you heard this? And I say, I have heard this. Have you heard that? And we can exchange information and it's a flow and there's no condescension there. There's a coaching up. We're all going on the same page. There's a flow. It's like a river of information. Certain people you talk to, it's like a black hole. Certain people, I mean this, certain people you talk to and it just, you're brought down. You feel that they're antagonistic, they're patronizing, they suck energy.
Yeah.
And by default, that's what most people do if we're not intentional about designing our life. So if you're watching today's show, you say, I want to check up from the neck up and I want to change my social circle. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and come to one of our workshops.
Oh, yeah.
Most people tell me the people they met at the workshops are now their friends for life. So I'm
Right.
telling you, come to these. We do 4 of them a year, every single year. This is my 20th year doing the same thing. You go to thrivetimeshow.com to learn more about that. We got Eric Trump coming up in September. Mel K will be there in September. Amanda Grace will be there in September.
Everyone's excited. Stella, I mean, we're excited because we haven't all seen each other either, and everyone's doing so great, but it really is an energy, I have to say. I love that energy that happens when you go into your complex and you have all these people that are just so excited, and then there's real solid information. You give everyone a book. I mean, there's just so much, but you're meeting people that are there for the same reason. They're not going to live life as it comes anymore. They're going to go take life by the horns and make it their best. And I'm telling everyone, what they're doing right now, it's going to take a little while, maybe 6 months or something, but American business people, American entrepreneurs, American Main Street people, people that work in think about Main Street, all the different things on Main Street, all the different small businesses are going to be thriving. The amount of industry that is coming back to America is unbelievable, and Main Streets all over this country are going to be thriving again. And I want my audience to be on the front row with that, to be on the cusp of that. My show is about empowering people to empower themselves. And there's no one out there that can take your business or your idea from 0 to 60 faster than Clay Clark. With all this enthusiasm, you hang up with him, you're like, okay, I'm ready.
Well, I'll tell you this. I am absolutely convinced that courage is contagious. And so if you want to go to the next level, okay, step 4, surround yourself with good people. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And final pro tip here, this is very important for every single person to write this down. Schedule your success. Schedule it. So even though today is a day where I have to hop on calls and talk about legal things I don't want to talk about, I'm blocking out a window of my time where I'm going to commit to doing that. But that's all the time I'm going to give it, because now I'm going back on to the proactive stuff, right? So even though I don't want to do it, I have to do it. But you schedule time, you schedule success, you schedule the podcast you want to be on, you schedule time to market, you schedule time to meet with your team, and you build a calendar, and that calendar, out of the calendar will flow your success. And someone says, can I see your calendar, please? That sounds fair. So this is my calendar right here. This is my calendar. This is my calendar for next week. And I design it, and then it happens. So it happens because I design it, and it happens, and that's how it happens. So you design it, and then it happens. So in this calendar, if you obsess on it, you look at it, you'll discover that I'm meeting with the guy to build the waterfall at 4:30 on Thursday. There it is, because I'm going to build the waterfall. It's not going to be like a thing. I'll try to build a waterfall. No, I'm going to build a waterfall. I told Eric Trump, I'm going to add on a third deck. If you come to speak in September at our conference, I said, I will build a third deck to pack in all the people. And that's what we did. That's what we're doing. We're adding on. It's happening. So for anybody here, again, folks, I'm so sorry I have to go 90 miles an hour today. But for anybody out there that wants to join the conversation, go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. Use promo code MELK. Why? Because it supports Milk, and you have a chance to win a backstage pass. You can meet Tim Tebow. You can meet Eric Trump. You get a discount off the VIP tickets. How much are the tickets, Clay? They're $250 or whatever price you want to pay. Well, how much are the VIPs? $500. And if you use Milk promo code, you get a discount. Mel, today's show was faster than a micro machine commercial, but we did it.
No, it's good. It's good. I just want to remind people, you can take back America yourself. You can take back the American dream. You can lead your family to much better future. You just need to take action. And there's no one to get you on the right track like Clay Clark. If your business is not where it should be, where it could be, whether it's home-based or it's one of these different service business or whatever, it's worth it's worth getting the assessment and taking it from there. You will be shocked. And I hope to see all of you at the conferences ahead. Thank you so much, Clay. It's always exciting. And now I'm pumped up to go work.
Thank you, Mel. And to quote Ric Flair.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and people that parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is The Creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group, I was so impressed because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and what turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call. And we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual. And we picked it up and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to 100% growth. We're a full functioning company. It's great. We're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls. We've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant like cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly, incredibly encouraging all the time. And he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive, but I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay, and let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business? Or was that something that you were maybe excited about or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're going to fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.
Whoa.